Hello, it is Saturday, October 8th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Saturday puzzle today, so it may well be the toughest crossword of the week, which could be saying something because, to be honest, I found the last two puzzles, the Thursday and Friday crosswords, fairly tricky. So, I don't know, we'll have to see how this goes, but it is themeless. There will be no theme, so probably lots of puns and misdirection, I don't know. And this potentially deceptive edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Jenny Montague, Gabor, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster, the invaluable Timothy Mark, and the indomitable Showmaster. So thank you so much to the five of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for directly supporting this channel. I do very much appreciate that, as I appreciate the contributions of everybody who has become a patron of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. Thank you so much for your support. And in return, you'll receive access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. In the last 2 days, that's been the weekly mini puzzle speed solve, which started off extremely not speedy, and the monthly bonus puzzle published by the New York Times, which was this month themed around National Newspaper Carrier Day. So anyway, thank you to everybody who is a patron, and do subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying these videos, and consider recommending them to a friend. Why not? All right, let's solve the puzzle. This is a themeless Saturday crossword constructed by Kyle Dolan, who's done somewhere north of a dozen puzzles for the New York Times, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. So let's start solving. A guiding belief. It could be a tenet or a credo, maybe, or it could be an ethos. Yeah, I started off thinking I knew what it was, and then I decided I didn't. So highlights, e.g. So what did I say this could be? T, C, so clips maybe? If this were credo, let's just try it and see. I don't know. It follows, oh yeah, here we go. This one would have been a useful thing to look at. It follows Quebec in the NATO alphabet. Is it Romeo? So the NATO alphabet is often, it's not the official name of it, but it's one of the more common ways to refer to, I don't remember the official name of it, but it's sort of the International Phonetic Alphabet, and it's, words that represent letters, essentially, to make it unambiguous what letter you're referring to. And I think Romeo is R. Greeting the post office can't deliver. An email, maybe? Or an e-card, perhaps. That's more, an email isn't necessarily a greeting, whereas an e-card is a greeting card, an electronic greeting card. So that's probably the answer there. So I think this worked out with credo and clips. So it was good that I checked that cross instead of just saying, well, this could be any of those, I'll move on. Good cheer could be ole, perhaps. It's a cheer in a literal sense. You cheer it. I'm not sure if that's right. Let's look at this. Some specific references that can add authenticity to writing. Local color. Oops, local color. There we go. Yeah, I could imagine that being the phrase you'd use in that. I mean, it's certainly a phrase, local color. So yeah, you could say how this person's doing an on location report. Be sure to add some local color, that kind of thing. Okay, line from Pinocchio. I haven't seen Pinocchio in decades. Do not remember. It looks like, I'm a real boy. I do remember that. Yeah, that's Pinocchio, the wooden puppet transformed into a real boy by the fairy, and so I'm a real boy, he says, I guess. Okay. Official timekeeper of Wimbledon. It looks like Rolex. So I think this has actually come up before. Or maybe there was one of them that was Timex, was the official timekeeper of something or other. But in any case, Wimbledon and Rolex is an upscale watch brand, so that would seem appropriate. Porto Ferreo is its largest town. Is it Elba? Is it the island of Elba? Animal Crossing fox whose name references a legendary comedian. Oh, I actually don't know this. This is the game series Animal Fox, in which you sort of like tend a town, kind of, I think. So anyway, I actually don't know this character, but there is, Red Fox was a legendary American comedian. spelled in this manner with two Ds. So I sort of suspect with 4 letters starting with R and it's a fox, I bet it's red fox. So that makes me think this is Elba. Okay, so there we go. Subject of a drawing, perhaps. A door prize? This is something that would happen at, what, a party or something? You get a door or some sort of event, door prizes, and the drawing in this case refers not to, I mean, I think it's meant to misdirect you and think it means a sketch, that sort of drawing, but no, in this case I think it means a random drawing in the sense of a lottery. Okay, sign of anxiety. Dry. Not sure about that. What about this? Conspirators. A cabal. So once again, just very slight misdirection because the plural of conspirators makes you think the answer itself will also be a plural. But no, in this case, it's collectively referring to the cabal of conspirators. A cabal, sort of a shadowy group, shadowy secretive group. Bad time to take stock. A bear market? I mean, arguably, I guess. So what this is getting at, of course, is a bear market is when a stock market is in decline. And so the idea here, I guess this makes sense. You wouldn't want to necessarily be buying into the stock market in in decline, in a sort of bearish period. You could argue, in theory, if you were capable of timing the markets, which nobody really is, you want to buy low and sell high, but of course you never know how low it's going to go. So I guess it probably is a bad time to take stock in this punny way. Okay. Personal parking space, e.g. But that said, if you subscribe to the theory that you can't time the market, you just sort of buy in whenever you do. Anyway, personal parking space, e.g. a perk of employment. Brews that Belgium is famous for. Dark ales, is that true? Yeah, I suppose so. I've had Belgian beers that are dark, kind of rich dark ales. I guess that's right. Pop tribute, soda tax. Oh, right. That's really clever. Wow. Tribute, in other words, tribute paid, so tax in that sense. And on pop, which is, in some regions, how you refer to soda pop. That's really clever. I've never seen that one before. Haha could be LOL for laughing out loud. And someone to push around. Is it taught? You'd push them around in a pram or something? Is that what this is getting at? I think maybe. I'm not certain about that. Showrunner. I'm not sure. Come back to that. Okay, terminal helper. This could be a terminal meaning a computer terminal, or maybe a terminal in the sense of a railway, the terminus of a railway, maybe? Not sure. I don't know what that would be in this case. Terminal helper. Could just mean final helper, terminal meaning last, I don't know. They may be presented for visiting dignitaries. Yeah, I'm sort of running out of steam here. Hauls away. Probably ends with an S. Forces to leave. Something's out. Seems plausible. Let's just check the crosses here. Home to many John Constable works with the... This looks like it'll be a museum name. I don't know. Free spot in brief. A PSA, maybe a public service announcement, which are sometimes given, sometimes allowed to run for free rather than being charged at the advertising rate. So a free spot, in this case, a free ad spot, a free advertising spot. I don't know about this out. Accessed the contents of as a piñata. So piñata, you burst it open and then the candy comes out. So something open. Cracks open, breaks open, doesn't fit. Cracks open, doesn't fit. Looks like there would be a C there. Oh, wait, no, accessed, sorry. Oh, interesting. So I was going to say you want a D here, but then what would this be? So maybe this whole thing is a single word. Accessed the contents of, and it would need to implicitly do the work of the word of as well. So accessed the contents of. I don't know. Oh, that's frustrating. I'm not seeing it. What about this? This is an enticing letter here. Dash of panache. Pizzazz, or I mean, it's something like that. Don't know. Works in a cafe, maybe. Brews or serves or what? Works in a cafe. I mean, I guess it could be works as an artworks, like latte art or something. I don't think that's what it is. That would probably have a question mark on it, to be honest. Forces to leave. Ah, I'm really, really not making any progress here. Frigga portrayer in Thor. So this presumably means the Marvel film. I have no idea. I don't think I'm going to just land on that. Folate-rich root. Folate-rich root. Root vegetables could be what? Radishes or potatoes or turnips or beets. Beet would fit. Beetroot. Hang on a sec. Is that something? Hang on a sec. I was hoping that would really lead to something. Language descended from Proto-Algonquian. Oto or Cree, if this were an E. Top tier. Acme or A1, maybe? A1 feels like top tier. Hauls away. Carts away? Okay, this might be adding up to something over here. Terminal helper. So this S fits both, works in a cafe maybe, and they may be presented for visiting dignitaries, so I think that's probably safe. What was this again? Sign of anxiety. Dry. Anxiety. Oh, I wish I could just get that. Feels like I should be able to, but I don't seem to. Okay, so, maybe this is Cree. So what did I say it was? Well, I said it could have been Oto, but that doesn't fit. So if this were beat, that were Cree, does that work? So, I mean, this would be a Native American language, is what, because Algonquian would be as well. So the answer would be and proto is usually used in linguistic families to describe sort of earlier languages that led to other descendants, usually several splits. Access the contents of as a pinata. Broke open. Ah! It was the most obvious. I probably even said something like that when I was describing what a piñata was. Oh, that was ridiculous. Hang on a sec. Oh, BRB. So this is interesting because the fact that it's in quotes means this is something that could itself be directly quoted, and then the sec gives it the abbreviation, which I didn't really appreciate when I was reading it initially. So BRB for be right back, and the reason it can be abbreviated is because of that sec abbreviated from second. Okay, so Rene Russo, that's an actor. So maybe that was this person. I'm fairly confident that's probably going to be the case. Terminal helper. What? Oh, porter. Right. So maybe it was a train terminal then. So porter. So someone who will help carry your bags, for instance. Okay, they may be presented for visiting dignitaries. Arms? You sort of present your arm? Is that what this is? Forces to leave. This is something out. That was fairly clear. Forces to leave. Something's out. And then, is it the Tate? Home to many John Constable works with the? There are several museums in the sort of Tate group, two of which are here in London, and one of which is the most famous, although not the original, the Tate Modern. If I had to guess about the Tate, my guess would be it was the Tate Modern, but it could be the Tate Britain, which was the original one. But I'm not sure. What was once due to American pioneers? What was once due west? What was once due to American pioneers? That's obviously a bit of misdirection there, because you read this and you think, oh, it was due to them. It was what was owed to them. But no, it's using due in the directional sense, due west, because the pioneers will sort of continually move west. Okay, unlikely to be caught is wily or something like that. What about this? Craft since ancient times. A canoe, a craft in the sense of a boat. Mustard's rank, abbreviations. This is referring to the board game Clue, or here in the UK, the Cluedo, and Colonel Mustard. I remember Colonel Mustard. Trifle with is toy with someone. Whoops, I managed to type that backwards somehow. Unlikely to be caught is ways off or something. I'm not sure what that is. Sorry. Pitch related could be tonal if we're referring to musical pitch. And then rightmost symbol on Alaska's state flag. Ooh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Let's see. With a little help from my friends singer familiarly. So that's the Beatles song, and it was sung by Ringo Starr. Not one of the ones he wrote, but one of the ones he sang. Take on, and not sure. Warm compresses can relieve them. Aches, maybe? Sores, I don't know. Let's see. Rightmost symbol on Alaska's state flag. Don't think I'm confident enough about aches. Touch could be move. No, Ringo's Ringo. Some powerful evokers of memories are odors, maybe. You could have sense memory associated with smells. Prefix with physics or engineering. Geophysics, geoengineering, maybe. Take on. So, I mean, this could be take on as in adopt. It could be take on as in go up against, challenge somebody, take them on. What is this? Cairo-based group. Cairo-based group. And it fills seats at an office. A temp agency? Right, if you needed more workers on a temporary basis, you could call it a temp agency and fill seats at the office, I guess. So take on is incur, as in expenses. We're going to incur expenses, take on expenses, maybe. Gold, is this gold something? Alaska State Flag, gold. I'm not sure. Okay, well, this wasn't aches, so it's good I didn't put that in. Warm compresses can relieve what? And what about this Cairo-based group? Oh, is it the Arab League? That would make sense. Okay, so does that help with this? Styes or something? I mean, sort of. Does that relieve the sty itself or just the pain from the sty? Maybe you can use it in both senses. I wouldn't have immediately thought that. This looks like Polaris in any case, the North Star. And now that I say that, I think I can imagine the Alaska State Flag. It has a sort of spiky, one of those sort of, very thin, pointed stars on it representing Polaris, I think. So unlikely to be caught is way ahead, right? Unlikely to be caught in, say, a race or even in the scores. And then just a touch, just a hint of, I don't know, salt or something in a recipe. That's not the best example, but you know what I mean. Make a quick stop is maybe, I'm just going to pop by. I'll make a quick stop. Rap artist blank ma. Don't think I know this one. What about this? Leader in prayer. Could be an imam, Muslim prayer leader in this case. And second line of a child's joke. Who's there? Knock, knock, who's there? very common children's joke format. And awful or worse. Awful or worse. Not sure what that wants. Sierra blank. Sierra Leone, the country. Sockdolager. Oh, I don't think I know this. I'll be interested to see what that is. Evangelistic sort. A zealot. Someone who evangelizes for a particular cause. Oh, a sockdolager. Is it a lulu? A sort of kind of a quaint term for just a real, that's a great example of that thing. Oh, that's a real lulu. That's a real winner. A real sockdolager. That's my guess. I'm not sure about this. Where fur might collect indoors. Cushion? Dog cushion or something? Cat cushion? Is either of those a phrase? Citation information. Mid-range. Mrs. probably has an S at the end. Longtime meat substitute brand. I'm not sure. Awful or worse. 0 star. Why is that or worse? And then we had rap artist Remy Ma. So there's that. But 0, why is, so I could see why it's 0. I'm sorry, I could see why it's awful. Why is it worse? 0 star. Is it worse than awful? Is that all it means? I don't know why that needs to be in the clue. Don't quite get it. But I think it's the correct answer. So dash of panache. Okay, well, this was nowhere near anything I was thinking. Is this sort of like zhuzh up? You hear people say that, zhuzh up. It's the kind of thing I don't know that I've ever read in my life, or even particularly said myself, but I have heard it said. And maybe that's how you spell it? Zhuzh, like this or something? Oh, dry mouth, sign of anxiety. Okay, that's perfectly feasible. That gives me some confidence about this zhuzh. What about this cow? So I assume this isn't referring to a cow, the animal, unless I'm missing something. I assume it means cow, as in to cow somebody, to kind of intimidate them. Forces to leave. Drubs out or something? Doesn't seem right. Works in a cafe, maybe. Oh, waits. You wait on customers. There we go. So cow, taunt, or it doesn't really quite fit either. Oh, that's annoying. What about this? Sudden effect of a cloud passing. Oh, this is annoying. Why can't I see any of these things? Let's keep looking around. Horns played at many pitches. Oh, vuvuzelas. The what country are they from? Are they from Brazil? They're from somewhere in South America. No, South Africa. Are vuvuzelas from South Africa? I think that actually might be right. Anyway, they're those little ridiculous, I guess, sort of plastic trumpets that people play at football matches. And I remember there was sort of I don't remember what year it was, but there was a World Cup at which it was sort of it was one in which they really became prominent. It was just every single game, there was just this nonstop background drone of a stadium full of people playing vuvuzelas. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was comical. Okay, showrunner. Not sure. Someone to push around. Maybe it is a tot. So a showrunner question mark. Some kind of pun or wordplay is happening here. And I don't know what it is. Silver and gold. Campus home of a UNESCO World Heritage Site in brief. University of something or something university. Oh boy. As shown. As shown. Boy, I'm not sure. Oh, showrunner could be something that literally runs a show, a program. It could be a TV set. Does that help with this? Oh, I haven't looked at this yet. Stinging jellyfish. This is the kind of thing I'm not going to be able to guess, and then I'll recognize it afterwards. But I don't think I'm going to jump to it. It's just my suspicion. I don't know. The University of Virginia. That V just makes me think UVA. Stinging jellyfish. Does that give me anything? It should, I'm sure, but it doesn't seem to. Sudden effect of a cloud passing. A sunburst? Is that something? Is that kind of maybe the sort of re-emergence of the sun from behind the passing cloud, and it kind of is maybe surprising or overwhelming, and maybe it would kind of redilate your pupils if you were sort of, looking not directly at the sun, but sort of towards the sunlight, perhaps. So what is this cow? Is it taunt? Is that what this is? I don't think so. That just doesn't mean cow. You could taunt somebody, but they could remain completely uncowed. Daunt? Yeah, that's reasonable. Daunt, that was daunting, that was intimidating, I was cowed by it. So forces to leave, drubs out. I think that came to mind at one point, but no, it's not, because arbs makes no sense. It is arms. It's drums out. They may be presented for visiting dignitaries. I guess you do. I guess this is you're offering your arm. Is that? Oh no, maybe it's presented like a military display of some kind. Arms as in armaments. Maybe that's what it is. I think that's probably more likely. Okay, silver and gold are hues. Maybe is it as simple as that? Yeah, colors. Stinging jellyfish. So what is this? As shown. This is shown. Thus. Thus seems more likely. It is thus. It is as shown. It's not different. It is thus. I think that's reasonable. So that would make this possibly UVA, maybe. Does that work? Sting. I don't know anything about UVA, but it's kind of, I could just imagine there being something related to maybe, early American history there that's important and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Maybe, I don't know. Stinging jellyfish. A sea something. It's not a sea anemone, is it? I mean, that looks sort of blends together. I don't think that's right. Where fur might collect into a pet cushion, maybe? Not dog or cat specifically. Oh, is this sea nettle, maybe? Like a stinging nettle? Citation information. Oh, this has become very difficult at the end. Long-time meat substitute brand. I don't recognize this at all. So what if this were nettle? Mid-range. Oh, alto? So that's low female range, which puts it in, roughly the middle of the total singing spectrum. Okay, that's plausible. Citation information, a page from which some particular bit of information was drawn. Misses, gals maybe, so miss as in a woman. Okay, so this does look like sea nettle then. So legal suffix, legalese. Right, I didn't even look at this clue. I should have. That would have been a relatively easy get. So legalese meaning legal language. And then sea nettle and UVA. There we go. Well, I did find that pretty tricky. I don't know that it was worlds more difficult necessarily than at least how I found the last 2 days to be, but I would say this was a tricky crossword. Zhuzh was a new one on me. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's been in the crossword before, but I certainly don't remember or recognize it, except that I was able to come to a recollection of it being said. I mean, I've heard it said. That's interesting. I wonder if this is a fairly standard spelling. In other words, I wonder if because it's a word that I'm almost certain would have arisen relatively recently historically. I mean, maybe not. You never know. But that's my guess. And so I wonder if there are any sort of competing spellings, but I have no idea. What else was tricky? This whole area down here, this UVA, sea nettle, pet cushion, all of that around there give me some trouble. And yeah, the longer ones, not so much. Local color, I'm a real boy, temp agency, Arab League. These were useful, long answers that I was able to get relatively straightforwardly, I think, although broke open inexplicably was challenging to me. Anyway, there we go. That was the Saturday crossword. Let me know how you fared with that one. I was interested to know. And now let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle. And Bradley explains the two games of a doubleheader are usually referred to as the early game and the late game. So this was the late game was in the puzzle. I was wondering, does that just mean that it's happening later in the day? And apparently that is in fact the terminology, or the typical terminology, early game and late game. So there we go. Doubleheaders only happen in baseball, says Bradley, and generally are the result of a rainout earlier in the season. Now that's interesting. That makes sense. Okay, and baseball, he points out, has many more games per season than the NHL or the NBA. And then two pronunciation notes. Now this one, I don't understand how I made this mistake. Nicole Hicks says the G is silent in GNU, GNU, at least in the referenced animal. This is one of those great examples of something that I definitely know this, and I'm pretty sure I've pronounced new with the silent G countless times in my life. I mean, at least as many times as ordinary person can be expected to need to reference the new, but to the extent that I have, I'm pretty sure I've largely said it in that manner. And I remember specifically coming to it yesterday in the puzzle and then just sort of arbitrarily thinking, sort of second guessing my memories about how that word is pronounced. And I do find that happens to me on these videos in a way that doesn't in normal life. It's very strange. There's some sort of self-consciousness that it creates with respect to that kind of instinct. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Nicole Hicks, for correcting my baffling mispronunciation. And Dave Innes also corrects a bit of pronunciation, or rather disambiguates two possibilities that I think I continued to offer throughout the puzzle. So Steve Kerr is pronounced like her in the US, not like hair in Germany, even though it looks Kerr, it looks similar to that German word, which is, so I think I frequently throughout the solve said Kerr or care because I just didn't know. But anyway, her, thank you. Anyway, Steve Kerr is a nine-time NBA champion. He won 5 titles as a player, 3 with the Chicago Bulls and 2 with the San Antonio Spurs, as well as 4 with the Warriors as head coach. He also has the highest career three-point shot percentage, 45.4% in NBA history. Impressive. Impressive indeed. Thank you for the correction and context. And that's that for today's crossword, for today's video, and for yesterday's clues. I'll be back tomorrow with the Sunday puzzle. Should be a little bit less tricky than this one, I would suspect, but may well, in fact, almost certainly will take longer because of the size of that jumbo grid. It's just how it goes on Sunday. So I hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.